infinite perfection of God's light. There is nothing in the capacity of how we have walked in the world in the past that can prepare you for the truth of the love that you are. The words themselves are so small that they cannot give honor to the truth of your being. To accept the light that you are, to accept the purity of your being, your oneness with God, the power that God has bestowed on your heart. As God's creation, this is the natural state. In God's creation, He has created perfection because God cannot create anything but perfection. Love is perfection, the truth of love. And in that perfection, it completely dismantles, melts away all arrogance that could be conjured up of this world. The belief in arrogance, the belief in pride, the belief in comparisons and differences, it has no life at all. It has no recognition in the truth of love. Love can't even see the pride, the arrogance, comparisons. It's like a little private dream that gets played out, where you pick and choose ways of protecting, defense systems. And many of the ego's defense systems can seem to be smart. They can seem to be a good way. Why not have pride? Why not have arrogance? When the alternative would be, instead of pride, would be humiliation or unworthiness. The opposite of arrogance to the ego is a lack of worth. But behind the curtain, they're all the same. Pride, arrogance is a place of pain. The truth of your divine self it has no relationship to any of what the ego deems to be attributes. To compare, to try to win, is an energy that you build a defense system with. When we build a defense system, we do so with the entire intention of self-protection. It may not be obvious self-protection, but it becomes self-protection. Because the universe of love is boundless. The universe of love has no limitation, has no boundaries of less or more. In the boundless love, you are and have everything. The world of scarcity, which is the world of the ego, is the way that the world sees the possibility of getting more. But the world is not aware of the boundless love. The world is not aware that they are that boundless love. The ego's intention has been to promote, convince, live as scarcity. And the belief of scarcity itself runs the terror show. It runs the show because everything that is seen within the world is parceled out, and everyone sees the haves and the have-nots. And the prayer for the have-nots is there, but for the grace of God go I. But those beloveds are in the grace of God and aren't aware. But they are not the ones that are holding everyone else back. It's an agreement. It's an agreement that there will be a split. It's the ego's intention of having a split so that everyone is aware of the have-nots. And so the scramble is to be part of the haves, not the have-nots. And that promotes fear. Because the have-nots are always there as evidence that they're but for the grace of God go on. And fear runs the whole show. And then in the spiritual journey, the prayer comes, this can't be the truth. This can't be what we are here for to keep doing again and again. I want to see the truth. There must be another way. But when a beloved comes to that, it is for all of us shocking that the scarcity is not the truth, that the belief in arrogance and pride and greed and comparisons and ownership It is not the way of love. But there is none of that in love. Love's truth is abundance and never-ending supply and no ownership. What is there to own? You have everything within. You are everything within. And the ruse of ownership is part of the scarcity agreement. When we are determined to own and keep to ourselves anything, it is a state of suffering, and it is a state of fear that has no conclusion. It will not lead to a feeling of safety. It will not lead to an open heart. It will not lead to anything but more fear. And every day, every beloved has choices of ownership or freedom, abundance. To affirm the truth of love's abundance is the calling to return home. The generosity of the heart gives, offers, extends constantly, because there is so much, and the flow of love is so immense that you can't keep it all to yourself. You can't own it. It has to flow. It has to be offered constantly. Not as I'm going to give you something, but the generosity of the heart that can't help but love, and can't help but offer that love in its truth of abundance. What happens in the world with the name of love is upside down for the most part. And one of the main elements of it is, if I give you what I consider to be love, I can only give that if I am clear that I will get it in return, that it will be reciprocated. And in that, the fear and the pain are present. It's a exquisite spiritual question that every beloved is called to ask within. Am I looking for something? Am I looking for a return on my investment? And that question becomes the door that opens to the all-encompassing love, to the abundance, the generosity, the lack of ownership. And you begin to extend the truth of love. When you ask the question, am I giving freely? Am I extending without expectations? It's a deep place that when you go there, at first it may be a hesitation because it may seem that you already are aware in the past where the fear came up of not giving freely. But the more you ask the question, the more the heart begins to really sing, and the connection is made. I can't be looking for anything. I have everything, and it has to be offered. It has to be extended. I must love. And as I love, it becomes more and more clear that as this love is being extended, there's no possibility of ownership. It's given, and it's extended. And in that exquisiteness, love is recognized. Because as the love is extended, happiness, joy, harmony, all begin to become so evident. Your eyes begin to shine. Your heart sings. And you are in your exquisite devotion to love itself. Your natural state. Your beautiful natural state. I must love. In this moment of love, we affirm that this universe is all love. Nothing else can exist in the heart of God. This sanctuary is filled with love, abundance, harmony, peace, no ownership. And in this moment, this sanctuary is filled with the life force of God. Within this life force, every beloved lives and moves and breathes in the union, the holy union of love, within that life force of God. There is only one presence here. It is God's presence and love. As we say yes. I will, and I am, and I must love. When I feel this pain inside and I find nowhere to hide, Mother, rain your love on me. Mother, rain your love on me. Mother, rain your love on me. This sorrow now imprisons me. Somehow I need to be set free. Mother, rain your love on me. Mother, rain your love on me. Mother, rain your love on me. Heal me of my hurt and fear. Reveal the face of God so near. Mother, rain your love on me. Mother, rain your love on me. Mother, rain your love on me. Safety of a mother's care, for Jesus it was always there. Mother, rain your love on me. Mother, rain your love on me. Mother, rain your love on me. As I move toward the light, defend me from the dark of night. Mother, rain your love on me. Mother, rain your love on me. Mother, rain your love on me. Thank you for the love you give. In compassion for your Son I live. Mother, rain your love on me. Mother, rain your love on me. Mother, rain your love on me. O my holy Queen Mother, my divine guide, may you come to us now, and will you please open my heart. Open my heart so that I can see. Come to guide my life, O Blessed Mother. Come to give light to all beings. Come and show the way. Come to give light to those who can't see. Come to give light to the heart of each beloved. Here I receive you, and I prostrate myself at your feet. My heart I give to you, and I ask you for deeper faith. I ask you for this faith here within my heart. I ask you for my light. O Blessed Mother, show me, teach me. Please guide me, guide all beloveds, so that we all arrive at the door of love as one. To arrive at the divine door after we have learned the truth of love. Minha Senhora Mãe, Senhora da Conceição, venha agora conosco, abrir meu coração, abrir meu coração, para eu poder ver que a minha vida, ó Virgem da Conceição, vem dar luz aos teus filhos, vem proteger os meus irmãos, vem dar luz ao quem não vem, vem dar o coração. Eu peço a minha fé dentro do meu coração. Te peço a minha luz, ó Virgem da Conceição. Guiar os meus irmãos para todos ajudar, chegar no porto divino. Depois que soubemos amar. I ask you for faith. Faith is the glue that holds together the truth to be accepted. It takes faith to leave a world that has been made out of fear, to turn away from the fear and turn toward the light with faith that love is real, that compassion, gentleness, generosity, honesty are all the truth of love. Nothing to protect, nothing to defend, nothing to own, nothing to prove. It actually sounds like nirvana, and it is. You are nirvana. You are heaven, now and forever. I bet there is another way. How many times do you need to hear who you are and what you are before you begin to cash some of that in and stop acting like a beggar for any kind of attention from people who do not really know the truth of love? Sweeping the streets the way that some do with eyes that might cover is no longer fitting for us. For we are everything's Lord. There is no pride in my face, just the opposite. For I got to this great position in making myself ready every moment to serve another. All the alertness any creature might know, all strength and agility, I would use to care for you. In a way, a divine lion would care for its cub. I don't want you to leave and go back into any world that will frighten you. What can we do? We can accept that there is another way. How many times do you need to hear who you are and what you are? Many of us need 1,000, 2,000, 10,000. We only need to hear it once to accept it. But because of our deep attachment to the past, God, the Holy Spirit, all divine beings are willing to repeat it again and again and again. I've had beloveds ask me, where does the patience come from to say the same things over and over again? Patience is love. To speak in love, to offer love, is never a burden. It is never a rolling of the eyes, this again. Every word is so precious. Every word is God's. And it is the happiness of the heart that speaks those words 1,000 times, 1,000,000 times. After having spoken the words of fear and greed and pride and arrogance and ownership and comparisons and differences, strategies. After speaking those words for lifetime after lifetime, it is the true blessing of every one that has awoken to be able to speak the words of love. It is God's breath that enters and speaks the words. It is the light of all creation that speaks the words. There is no one that speaks the words. There is no ownership of the words. Freely given, freely offered, and completely blessed to offer love. How many times do you need to hear what and who you are before you begin to cash some of that in and stop acting like a beggar? Those are strong words, acting like a beggar. When we look, certainly when I looked, yeah, I was a beggar. I begged secretly for the most part until I began begging the divine. When I was walking in the world and begging in the world, I begged secretly. I begged secretly for attention. I begged secretly for worth. I begged secretly for acknowledgement. I begged secretly for the worth that I thought somebody else would have. I begged. I begged to be seen differently with my own eyes. I begged to wake up someday and be a different person, to even look different. When we beg or act like a beggar, it's this painful self-hatred that has just has no connection at all to the divine truth of who you are. And it has no connection, and therefore God sees none of it. But the begging that is spoken here is really saying, stop attacking yourself. Stop believing in your unworth. But at the same time that we have to stop believing in our unworth in the world, we have to recognize the equality with everyone, that everyone has the same worth, that there is no more contest to get to the top, that everyone can rest. Everyone can just rest. No rushing anymore, no drive to get to the top, no push to win, no checking out to see if anybody's passing you by. All gone. You rest. You just rest in the union of love, in the promise that in this divine equality, you are perfect. You are everything that is of God. You are the light. And you can rest. And the world of enemies disappears. Now, when I say the world of enemies disappears, many beloveds would say, "Oh, I don't have enemies." But every notion, every thought that has to do with being unworthy and believing in scarcity says, I have enemies because there's only so much, and I'm afraid of not getting enough. Those fears can be let go. They can be forgiven completely, washed away, as never having been anything of reality. Never. Sweeping the streets the way that some do, with eyes that might covet, is no longer fitting to us, for we are everything's Lord. It does not say here we are everything's owner. Everything's Lord is a place of caretaking. It's a place of loving. It's a place of service. To be everyone and everything's Lord is to be the servant of love itself. And you are that. But to accept it is the healing. It's here. It's what you are. But until you accept it, it isn't complete. Let it be completed. There is no pride on my face, just the opposite. For I got to this great position in making myself ready every moment to serve another. Every moment. If I would have studied this 10 years ago, I would have looked at every moment. Am I serving in every moment? What actually occurs is that the self, the little self that before needed to be recognized and paid attention to, that is disappearing, because when you are serving with love, the personal starts to really just fade away. To make myself ready every moment to serve another is saying, from the moment that you rise in the morning, your heart is in devotion. What happens when your heart is in devotion is that you're not thinking about you. When the ego wakes up in the morning, the ego says, what do I need? What do I have to get today? When love wakes up in the morning, love is already accepting that everything is already here. There's nothing needed. Everything that's real is here. And so in that acknowledgement, in that acceptance with faith, because it isn't necessarily something that you're aware of, but that you're putting your faith into. I am the light of God. I turn away from the ego and I ask, how can I serve? Because I have everything. This is the journey of love. This is, I got to this great position in making myself ready every moment to serve another. It will seem at first to be a burden. What about me? What about who's going to take care of me? And there is the question and the answer. Who is going to take care of you? You can offer and you can afford to offer love freely, completely, because you are in God's hands. God is the source of your existence, and all your needs are met. God is your source of caretaking. God supplies your divinity, your wisdom, your peace, your harmony, your joy, your beauty, your generosity, your gentleness, your kindness, your peace, because it is your natural state. And God is providing all that you are. And in that providing, you have to give. Not because there's a contract that says so, but because you have so much. You have everything that could possibly be the divinity of the universe. It's yours. It's who and what you are. And in that, we are called to begin to cash some of this truth in and no longer believe in begging. I've said many times that in beautiful hymns that use the word begging, the begging is not for God. God doesn't need the begging, but I needed the begging. I needed to want to be in God's arms so fully and deeply that I would beg. And that I would beg with happiness. That I would feel that urge, that devotion, that longing to remember. And that the begging itself would open the doors. I wanted to give myself, whatever this self was, all to God, so that I could remember love. And that love becomes the awareness that I can't love and be with God unless I am in love and with every beloved, with no exceptions. I had to embrace God's creation, revere it, treasure it, and be so happy that I could serve God's creation. To serve God's creation is to serve God. It is the doorway to God. When you hear the teaching, everyone is my savior, at first that's a little touch and go. I know I could see a lot of beloveds that I wouldn't have called my beloveds and that I wouldn't have considered to be my savior. And those, of course, were exactly the ones that I needed to embrace to begin with. But in embracing those beloveds, I was not a beggar. I was God's child. And I was embracing God's child. It's so simple. Love is really simple. All the alertness any creature might know, all strength and agility I would use to care for you in a way a divine lion would take care of its cub. Does that mean that you have to have the physical strength to physically take care of someone? No. How it's expressed, how it's manifested, it will be shown to you in perfection every time. It's the intention within. There may be no outside expression. You may pass someone by and not know them, not in the slightest way of the way of the world, but you have just taken care of them by recognizing them as the child of God. And there is no one that you walk by and assume that they are regular folks. They're all the divine light of God. And the more that your heart stops to imbibe in that love with them, the more you have to serve. It isn't like in the world where you do a chore and you say, oh, well, good, I got that done. I don't have to do it till the next day again. Love works upside down from that. Love, as soon as you offer it, you want to offer more. You want to extend more. Because you're in an experience of having so much. You're filled with love. You have to share it. You have to offer it. You have to offer it because You want every beloved to be aware of God's love. You want everyone to have the joy of that blessing. And you carry it. You hold that precious gift. And you would use everything to care for every beloved because it's what we're here to do. It's not a doing in the sense of the world, it is a being. That there is nothing to protect or defend of the me. I can love freely. And I don't ever have to be concerned about giving too much. Allow your heart, your prayer in your heart to be, how can I offer more love? How can I be more free to offer more love? It becomes a simple, beautiful offering, blessing, extension of God all day long. And one of the most amazing elements of love is that you begin to realize that what you called love in the world before wasn't love. And that the love is all completely equal. Not equal in less. This is where most people, beloveds, go with the ego. They go to, well, if everything is equal, that would mean that everyone would get the least amount by the least amount that I have given. When I see my neighbor, I casually look, hi, how are you? What's your name? Give me some statistics so I can know about you, but I'm not really connecting in the heart. And the belief is that you give the least amount to everyone equally, because that way there'll be enough. But in the truth of love, it's the opposite. You give the maximum love, you express the maximum love to everyone, including those that you don't know their names or you don't know who they are personally. There's no personal, but you love all, maximum, completely. They are the divine walking toward you. They are the light of God that has been sent to open your heart more by having the opportunity to love. But to recognize that God, through the Holy Spirit, through all divine beings, is saying right now, I must love, and to truly surrender the beggar, surrender the belief that you have to protect anything, save anything, own anything, be proud of anything. Now that may sound strange. What's wrong with being proud of something? As soon as you put pride on anything of an accomplishment or an ownership, it becomes a single relationship. It becomes a separation. when you're serving through the form, and you in that form accomplish something that was not there half an hour before, and you have created something, there's it it's so beyond pride. Pride says, this is mine, this is something I own. But when you're in service, there's nothing left to own. There's nothing left to have ownership of. It's already all given. It's all extended because it's love. And because there is nothing to get, there is no connection to the pride that says, I did this. It wouldn't matter who was the beloved who actually did the movement. It's just the offering of love. And it's perfect. When you ask the question, do you want to be aware of God's will for you? Everybody would probably say yes. I want to be aware of God's will for me. But do I want to be aware of God's will for me every moment? That I will follow, that I will trust and have faith, that all the ownership of the past, all of the pride of the past, all of the trying to prove of the past has absolutely no meaning anymore, because everything comes through the love that you offer. Imagine that you are a neurosurgeon. You can have a neurosurgeon that is offering love, and you can have a neurosurgeon that is offering pride of accomplishment. The one who's offering love recognizes, I'm being used by God. I'm here to serve the beloved who I am surgically changing. I'm not looking for that beloved or their family to acknowledge me. I'm not looking for more. I'm looking to be the servant of love and to truly hold that truth and that love for each beloved. When I'm done with the surgery, I'm happiest because I was able to serve this beloved with God's love. The blessing is in being the servant. The neurosurgeon who is still identified with their personal acknowledgement is actually suffering. They've worked so hard to prove their worth and get through medical school and 16 years of accomplishments, and yet unhappy. Because when those family members are so appreciative, it isn't enough. It isn't enough because it doesn't touch the heart. It doesn't open to actually being in service and being of love. To look for the gratitude of the family is a separation. In that moment, that beloved, who is the doctor, feels and experiences himself as separate. He experiences himself as the one who did this as a separate person. And his heart, her heart, isn't connecting to the service of love. That beloved is looking to get, and it will never be enough. It will have to be kept going up the scale to be better and better and better, to be enough. This is the suffering. And the same offering, the same surgery can be a gift of love, a gift of God's love, of the perfect love, of the love that you are, and that there's nothing to keep. There's nothing to walk down those halls of the hospital saying, hey, I just did great surgery. Look at me. I'm accomplished. As Jesus put, hold your head high, walk in the confidence of love that you are offering love. The surgeon that walks with God and that serves has the happy heart, the peaceful heart, and recognizes that it was God's grace that came and served that beloved. There is no pride on my face, just the opposite, for I got to this great position in making myself ready every moment to serve another. Doesn't matter what the service looks like. It's all love. Everyone has exerted great effort to preserve what was made an illusion. And now it's the unlearning. It's the surrender of love. Show me the way. I don't know the way, but I'm willing. I've read this prayer before. Do you believe in what you know? If everything you think you've made of talents and ambitions and even the personality self that was made in arrogance, do you believe you can decide what is truly helpful? How do you know what's truly helpful if your ego mind is so devoted to arrogance? When true humbleness dawns, you can no longer tolerate doing or speaking anything unless it is obviously coming from alignment with Divine Spirit. It is only the Spirit's use of words and deeds which are truly helpful. Yet, in order to use our words and deeds, Spirit must be given everything of ourselves. This is very humbling. Your best interests are in the control of the divine. This is an experience of complete joy. To have everything of yours be in control of the divine. That is the place of faith, that you can rest in God and trust that whatever is truly helpful will reveal itself to you in every moment because you truly want to be shown the way. Accept the will of God in true humility, and all you think you made will disappear. And love will take the place of self-deception. We lay aside the arrogance which proclaims that we are damaged, guilty, afraid, and we lift our hearts in true humility, in surrender to our immaculate true selves. It's so simple. We lay aside the arrogance which proclaims that we are damaged, guilty, and afraid. The ego would try to convince you that to be believing that you are damaged, guilty, and afraid is not arrogance. It's humility. I'm not worthy. The true humility is the acceptance of the will of God, and that you are the light of God, and that nothing will change that. And to own that love, that life, and to offer it to every beloved. Thy will be done. I have no will, only God's.